I guess like for you, what are you excited about that you're kind of keeping an eye on at the moment? And like where do you see some really exciting innovation already kind of piggybacking on what we're seeing now?
Yeah, well, there's always the question of Ray Kurzweil's singularity. I don't know if he coined the term, but he talks about it a lot. He may well have coined the term. It's like always like 1940, not 2040 or 2050. I just read something a couple of weeks ago that could happen as soon as 7 years from now. And for singularity, for people that are unfamiliar, it is that breaking through. Technology gets so insane that we create an AI that makes a smarter AI, and that smarter AI makes an even smarter AI, and then things are off the charts. There's solutions for all our problems, or there's Armageddon. No one can seem to agree on this, whether AI takes us out or solves all our issues. And when some people are thinking as soon as 7 years this can happen. That's exciting to me. I love it. The other exciting thing to me is not weird, but is I keep on reading about age expansion. I always feel that there's no reason why our brains should end. And there's no reason why we should die. Like some artists write about everyone's going to die. I don't see why not. I don't think I have a chance of beating age, but I think my kids do. And so I watch that very closely and get excited about that. I think that it's a profound, profound tragedy whenever someone dies. All that knowledge lost, all that beauty in their life lost. And I hope we defeat that. And I think it's happening, especially after when the singularity happens, it's probably erase death. Random, aging, I guess. I don't know.
I was having a conversation with my wife just a couple of days ago saying that we're probably the last generation that will have to experience death necessarily. So
isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
I wonder if that makes us cool though. And this is my weird theory, and it came from watching just all the science fiction I've read. So it's just like what I think in like the chances, and there's this Harvard philosopher, maybe a Yale philosopher, but once again, I'm not that good at recalling names, but the idea is that if the singularity happens, there will probably make at least two, if not more, simulations. And so like the long story of the argument is that like since a singularity happens, they'll make simulations of reality afterwards, more than one. If you find yourself in a reality and you think it's real, it's probably a simulation. This is a very common argument that we're probably in a simulation. I actually think we've already become immortal. We're already digital beings, and for the longest time with Westworld, I thought Westworld, the popular TV show, was...
We worked on it, the studio I'm at.
Oh, you did? No way. Like my theory was so good, you can go back and tell them to change, do another season, is that we are all digital, we're all immortal, and we're all bored. And Westworld was our vacation to remember what it was like to be mortal, remember what it was like to be flesh and blood. And I thought that train going into Westworld was people coming in from the digital world. And I really think that might be what this is we're all digital and we're all immortal, and we take vacation back to wherever we want, whenever we want, and there's a simulation waiting for us. I haven't figured out how our minds come into being, whether it's all pre-planned, whether or not we even have free will, but I do know that when we die, we probably end up back in this mainframe and like, dude, what happened? It's like, oh my gosh, this time I was an artist. And it's like, oh, that's so much better than the last time. What happened last time? Last time I was like killed like at 5 years old by a cougar or, whatever. And so this is I think there's a real possibility that that's what's happening.
Well, as you said before, that we probably are in a simulation. I think that's the right wording for it, because it just comes down to probability. And that's something that, over and over. I mean, it's something that I don't think too much about, but it also, as you say it, it kind of takes in the terms like reincarnation, things like that. It's just like, it's kind of interesting to look at things from that perspective, like that lens. So it's definitely interesting to kind of go down the rabbit holes of what if. And it's kind of like Westworld, like the train is such a great metaphor of, of kind of entering this whole other reality in a lot of ways, and forgetting who you are or where you're from. But
yeah, and it doesn't make life any less meaningful. It doesn't mean there's good and evil still exists, or just experiencing it. What's funny is I used to keep that secret. I've thought that for a long time. I used to keep it secret, but now I'm feeling more and more comfortable talking about it because it's not that outrageous.
You're not the only person, that's for sure. It's a common conversation these days, and again, it's really interesting to explore. Like, it's the biggest question for all of us is, what's the meaning of life? One of my favorite movies is like a low-budget sci-fi film that Jerome Bixby, who wrote a lot of the more popular Star Trek original episodes, he wrote this screenplay that then he passed away, but his son produced it, and it's called Man from Earth, which was like it's a couple of $1 million movie, is very low budget, but the whole concept is that this university lecturer, in other words, an educated person, is with his friends. He's saying goodbye because he's leaving after being with them like at that college for 10 years, and turns out he decided for once to open up and tell them the truth that he's a Cro-Magnon, like a caveman from 40,000 years before, and he just had, I guess, like really well balanced chemistry in his body where he never passed away. And a lot of the story, like a lot of the movie, is about his journey, but also about them struggling and kind of trying to disprove his whole story. And it's a really fascinating one, just kind of see all the kind of directions it takes it, but it's also just one of the what if, like what would it be like to live forever, and would you even want to live forever? So I like it just for the idea of making you think a bit more.
Yeah, no, I mean, what would happen if singularity happens, and what would happen if we become digital? We'd probably like start sharing knowledge with each other until there are these massive communities of brains that are sharing all their information. And then when everything that's to learn is learned, what else is there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like would you want that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
It goes back to what we first talked about there's more to life, such as finding that passion, that drive, which is usually going to be your family, the things that kind of ascend the remedial things that we self-identify with.
Yeah. And being scared of stuff. Everything about the human condition is interesting. Maybe it takes a little bit of primitive reptilian brain to make it exciting.
You mentioned before that maybe our brains are GANs. It made me think instantly about your reptile brain is kind of a GAN in the sense that it's able to, the signal, that's danger, stay away from there, is your kind of gut feeling. It's able to give you those signals of, curiosity isn't always good. So
yeah.